On Sunrise, JCPS families preparing for students to return to the classrooms. And today, transportation information will be available as bus drivers continue to practice their routes. We'll tell you everything you need to know.
A teenager and a soccer star shot and killed in Louisville and remembered by those who knew and loved him. How a nonprofit is helping his family.
And if your commute takes you past downtown Louisville, some closures could impact your commute this week. The latest traffic alerts to know before you head out the door. That's all ahead on Wave News Sunrise.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday. Hopefully you had a good weekend, stayed cool. It was a hot one.
Hopefully you stayed cool, and if you did, I'm very jealous because, yeah, it is so hot out there. Meteorologist Brian Good joining us this morning. How do you stay cool in this?
Well, I try to think of very cold places all the time, staying from the freezer longer than I need to until I get yelled at. Let's see, there's many ways to try to stay cool out there, but it's certainly one of those that you just gotta get into your habits of just trying to stay still. That's number one. Don't get active. Even if you go in the house, you run around the house, you're gonna get hot quickly, so just relax on the couch, turn on one of those ceiling fans, let the AC do its job, and you'll be all right. But hey, look at this. One heck of a sunrise here. Developing, you look off to the east. Look at that beautiful sky. Got that oranges and reds that are showing up. And you can see some of the officers there, by the way, working that traffic from that Hospital Curve closure there that you'll be hearing more about coming up. All right, pair of sevens right now in Louisville, 74 into Salem. Heat advisory is out for everyone watching right now through Wednesday. And an example of that will be low to mid 90s, upper 90s tomorrow, but it's the heat index. These are the numbers you need to dress for. 106 today, 108 for tomorrow, and 106 for Wednesday. Then we'll get a break. You could get a break for some isolated showers and storms today, but overall that rain chance is relatively low, 20 to 30%. It may go up a smidge just before sunset. More on that and the rest of the outlook coming up here in just a few more minutes.
Thank you so much. Okay, JCPS kids go back to school next week. And today, parents can map out their children's bus rides and ask questions, too, about their routes to school. Parents and families can check out the JCPS Bus Teller app. That's where you'll see those plans and all the details for routes, including the bus stop numbers, locations, and estimated pickup and drop-off spots. Now, all bus routes are covered for the first day of school. Superintendent Brian Yearwood said earlier this month the district has over 600 drivers, and they hope that number keeps going up. You can find all of the information at jcpsfirstday.com. You can also find a transportation verification form. If you have not filled one out, the deadline has passed, but you do still need to fill out a form if your child needs transportation. But you may not be guaranteed a spot on that first day, which is August 7th. That's because the district is in a freeze period for additions until August 18th. Also today, the hotline opens up. That's 485-RIDE. JCPS staff can answer questions weekdays from 9 to 4. The line will stay open for a while, too, after school starts, so they can handle any questions.
JCPS's new superintendent is hosting several chances for families and the community members to get to know him before the school year officially starts. And one of those opportunities is today. Today is the first in a series of public forums hosted by Dr. Yearwood. It'll be at Seneca High School from 5:30 to 7 tonight. It's followed by another forum on Wednesday at Fairdale High School. That one will also be from 5:30 to 7. Dr. Yearwood started the job at the beginning of the month after Dr. Marty Polio left the district. And you can find all of this information over on our website. You can also find stories like these under the Education News tab on wave3.com. You can also search for them on our Wave News app.
Some of the weekend closures on I-65 near Hospital Curve are partially wrapping up this morning, but it could still impact your commute. I-65 South has reopened, but sections near Hospital Curve are reduced to one lane through Wednesday. This is a live look from our SkyTrack camera right now. Crews are making permanent repairs to expansion joints that require frequent fixes, and they hope this will prevent potholes too. Additional lane closures will be scheduled at a later date. It's unclear how long the project will last. Parts of the Watterson are closing tonight as construction work takes place on Brownsboro. Crews will block off lanes and ramps to improve the interstate and US 42. Drivers will have detours for both west and eastbound traffic, and we have those listed right there. The work starts at 8 o'clock tonight and goes until 6 on Tuesday morning. Parts of the closures will continue each night this week. To see the full list, just go to wave3.com. It's now been a little over a week since a standout 17-year-old student athlete was shot and killed just steps from his own Louisville home. Now police say another teen is charged with murder in his death and now in custody.
This as the community is coming together to support the victim's family. 17-year-old Dunya Tuhania was shot and killed on July 15th. The teen being remembered as a stellar student, soccer star, and a leader in his community. Kevin Yuyusengo with See Forward Ministries was one of the people who watched Dooney grow and thrive in the city. He started a GoFundMe to support Dooney's family as they plan his funeral.
When life is cut short this way, then it's just another step back. You know, knowing what the family is going through, what the community is going through, and so yeah, we are taking one step at a time.
LMPD arrested a 15-year-old boy in connection to Dooney's death. He's charged with several things, including murder, having a handgun as a minor, tampering with physical evidence, and resisting arrest. Dooney's funeral is scheduled for August 15th. We have a link to the GoFundMe with this story on wave3.com.
This week, a man will be back in court after being let out of jail on bond twice, once for a murder charge for an alleged drunk driving incident that killed a Jefferson County teacher, and most recently on a new domestic violence charge. Adam Sanders was given a $3,000 bond on the new domestic violence charges, which he paid the next day. He was arrested July 5th in Oldham County for assault in the 4th degree. Judge Daniel Finley set the initial bond at $3,000. It's unclear if the judge was aware Sanders was already out on bond related to a DUI crash that killed Aaron Dita Lane. Last year, during his arraignment, Judge Brittany McKenna left the bond at the same amount, and the video confirms that she was made aware of his murder charge.
Post that bond and are released on this case, by presumption is you're not going to be released on your other case. But if for some reason you are to remain law-abiding, make all your court appearances, you are to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case.
Sanders posted the bond and was released the next day. The Oldham County prosecutor has asked to amend the domestic violence charge to a felony after obtaining pictures of the victim's injuries. The Jefferson County prosecutor has asked for Sanders' bond in the murder case to be increased to $250,000 full cash. Sanders is expected in court tomorrow.
3 people are dead, including a 1-year-old child, after a crash in Breckinridge County. It happened just after 5 Saturday along Kentucky Route 261 outside of Webster. Kentucky State Police say Joseph Maynard was driving south on the road when his car crossed over the line and hit another head-on. 22-year-old Hunter Lyons, a 1-year-old, and a 3rd passenger were in that other car. Maynard, Lyons, and the child all died at the scene. The 3rd passenger was flown to the hospital and is expected to survive. Police are still investigating the crash. We're learning more about the man police arrested in a SWAT standoff in Shively, which kept a neighborhood blocked off for hours. William Fry faces 10 charges in this case, including attempted murder of a police officer, terroristic threatening, and unlawful imprisonment. Police say Fry shot at officers when they tried to arrest him at a home on Woodmere Avenue last Thursday. His family tells us he suffered a brain injury and his mental health has declined over the past few years. Fry pleaded not guilty in court. He has to pay a $500,000 cash bond to get out of jail. If posted, he cannot make contact with his wife or have any guns.
New on Sunrise, we expect to learn more about the condition of Muhammad Ali's brother. A group of community leaders say he's in the hospital. The pastor of King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church, Charles Elliott, calling for prayer and support for Rahman Ali. The 82-year-old is the younger brother of Muhammad Ali. Reverend Elliott will be joined by other community leaders to give an update on his condition at 10:30 this morning. We'll update you on the latest developments here on Wave News. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is showing showing his support for workers to unionize at what will be one of the biggest vehicle battery manufacturers in this state.
The It's Better in a Union bus tour made a stop in Louisville as people employed at the Blue Oval SK battery plant work towards organizing. Earlier this year, they filed to join the United Auto Workers. Amanda East, one of the people behind the movement at Blue Oval, says they want better pay, affordable health care, and more safety measures. Along with Governor Beshear, U.S. Representative Morgan McGarvey, and State Rep Nima Kulkarni were there on Saturday, too. East said their support was inspiring.
To have the support means everything. It changes momentum. It changes the direction that the people will go. People see that, and it changes everything.
The next step towards unionizing is for the NLRB to conduct an election. If the majority of workers vote to join, they can make their organization official. No date yet has been set for that election. Happening now, you could be eligible for some help on your utility bills during this heat wave. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program will open applications for summer subsidy. That program provides households with a one-time electric benefit. It does not require a disconnect notice, a past due bill, or an eviction notice. LIHEAP will be accepting applications through September 12th. You can find out if you're eligible and how to apply on wave3.com. Here's meteorologist Brian Good tracking that heat wave.
Yeah, it looks like we're finally coming to the end of it here very soon. Not today, but at least by the middle of the week, we will be able to get some relief in the areas. But looking at the next 12 hours alone, we're going to be dealing with temperatures on a steady climb in the 70s and 80s now, all the way up into the 90s as we enter this afternoon, right around 94 here into Louisville. And we start to introduce at least a small chance for a couple of downpours. But I really think as you head into the evening, that's your greatest potential. Very close to, say, 7, 8 o'clock, there's a chance for a couple of gustier thunderstorms in the area. That may break the heat for your area. We'll talk about the end of the heat wave and the beginning of Goldilocks weather coming up next.
Thank you. Anchorage, Middletown Fire and EMS are making sure they're prepared for any situation. They participated in some training sessions, what they learned ahead on Sunrise.
And competitors getting ready to compete in a unique game celebrated in Germantown. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote showing us all about the World Dainty Championship. And a quick check of your traffic. Everything looks like it's rolling just fine, but remember that closure on I-65 southbound near Hospital Curve down to just one lane. Everything's flowing just fine in the area right now, but can expect some slowdowns and delays in that area as the morning commute picks up.
Now, Wave News.
Oh, it's a big tradition. The 55th annual World Championship Dainty Contest is today.
Definitely one of Louisville's most unique traditions. And Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote joining us live with a preview. And Kirsten, good luck.
Guys, I need it because my warm-up sessions did not go as planned. We're going to see how that goes in just a second here. I've got my dainty bat. I've got my dainty itself here. And, you know, I'm back here with John. He's one of the organizers of the contest. And, John, these bats here, you know, we know that Louisville is famous for its slugger bats, but these are just equally as famous, too. But you also have a special edition bat here that I want to point out.
Yes, traditionally they were just made out of an old broken broom handle, but there's a lot of folks from Slugger Museum, Hillcrest Bradsby, that live in the neighborhood, wanted to be a part of Dainty. So if you guys are here, make sure you visit the Dainty booth. We have some really cool, one-of-a-kind bats that I would actually feel way too guilty to play with. So we'll go back to the old broom handles for that.
Let's go back to that. So I've got my, like I said, I got my dainty bat, got my dainty. I'm on home plate right here, right? So
yes,
we were trying to talk strategy. Tell me what you know, what's some strategy or what's some rules?
I think you're kind of nailing it. One hand only on the bat. Some people like to choke up. Some people, there you go.
I almost got it.
Wood on wood is strike one.
That's strike one.
Some people like to go from the front side, some the back side. Some people like to really get kind of low down on it too.
Strike two. Okay.
Strike two.
Guys, I told you the warm-ups were not going as planned.
This is the one. This is the one.
The one. This is like that moment in those movies where they
up.
Oh my
strike
God.
three.
Oh, John, unlike you. Let's let the professionals.
All right.
Let's, you know.
It's a lot of pressure when you're doing it like live. And this is basically what it's like all day long. People come out here. Most people perform similarly to you, so don't feel bad. But then, like, every once in a while, somebody gets a good hit, and the crowd tends to go wild.
Oh my gosh.
Strike one. We'll see if we can get anything magical to happen here for the television. Strike two. Come on, this one's for all the marbles.
Oh man! on. Let's just
Something
take it.
like that.
I'm just going to take it. I'm going to beat the world record right here.
Yep, all the way down the street.
All the way down the
Oh
street.
my goodness, it is going,
I got it.
going. A solid 15, 25
Did I break
feet.
the world record?
Almost.
No. Oh, man. All right. So 4:30, that's when sign-ups begin. When does play begin?
Play begins just a little bit after 5. We have a few local dignitaries that play, singing the national anthem. There's like an opening ceremony, and then play starts 5:15, 5:30.
Awesome. So there's a lot on the line because we could see a repeat champion. We could also see our first woman champion too. We haven't had that in the 55 years of this contest. So anything is going to happen today.
Absolutely, I would love to see that. We've had some strong contenders, so I think this might be the year.
Yeah, it might be the year. You guys got to tune in to find out. Thank you so much for joining me, John. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kirsten. But hey, good news for you. You still have 20 years to practice. You're still young.
Plenty of time.
There you go. I cannot believe in all the years there has never been a female champion.
I think that needs to change.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that would have happened by now. But yeah, we'll get it happen maybe this year. Maybe this is the year. It's got that vibe, right? It feels like it. Maybe it can be. It won't be me, that's for sure, because I am not that talented with that. I've tried many, many times. But I like Kirsten's idea of just grabbing it and throwing it. Why didn't I think of that? Anyway, here's a live look at Spaghetti Junction. Yeah, you see the officer there, again, restricting some of the lanes. So it is open, but just flowing at a restricted pace. We'll see how this affects mainly afternoon rush hour more than anything. And if we're heading off to Kentucky Kingdom, many of our theme parks today. Have fun. It's going to be hot, of course. Take a lot of breaks. A lot of these parks offer free ways to get some drinks out there. Now, some are soft drinks, but some water is available too. And use that sunscreen as well. Thunderstorm chance. Most of it will be the very end of your day. The only exception would be Mason, Ohio. I think your thunderstorm chance will be in the morning, not so much in the afternoon, but still hot in all locations. All right, let's get you outside and show the current view of the temperatures in downtown. We got 78 at the station, 75 across the river into Jeffersonville, Fishing, Louisville, a pair of 7s. 74 into E-Town. Quick update on our storm tracker this morning, located across Indiana. Looks like on Charlestown Road, I believe that's last check. Flynn's driving this morning. We'll check the sign here. He's heading toward, actually, he's near Algonquin Parkway. So he's over there on the Georgia Powers now. So he's moving right along since the last time I was able to check with him. So yeah, he's on the western side of Jefferson County, and he's heading in an area where you can see that beautiful sunrise there off to the side. So traffic moving along fine. Thank you, Flynn. All right, we got that mixed cloud, partly cloudy skies in the area now. We had some fog around some of the valleys. That's already beginning to lift up. So we'll improve things here today. Rain chances is the big thorn on our side that we'll be tracking throughout the day. There's where Flynn was, and again, he's already now into the city at the moment, moving right along there. All right, we got some downpours in Indiana. In fact, a complex of storms. Look at these. But look carefully. The wind does come out of these here, so the wind becomes more dominant, and once that happens, these thunderstorms are done. They're going to fall apart, and they are not going to survive much longer. But the little boundary, the wind, will keep going and going and going, and around, say, 5 or 6 o'clock, it'll be lined up somewhere around here. And then when it wakes back up again after a lot of heating, that's when our afternoon thunderstorms will pop along that boundary and could drift south into central Kentucky. That's the game plan we're looking at right now on how this will play out. Obviously, there's little adjustments here and there. It won't play out exactly like that, but that's the overall thinking for the moment. Your severe risk after this moves by, look at that, a moderate risk now just west of the Twin Cities. It's going to be a big, long day for tornadoes there in the northern plains. For our area, we just have to deal with the sinking front, and so far your severe risk still stays mainly to the west because of the timing of day. So I think overall we could get lucky and avoid a lot of severe weather and just get some beneficial rain before we get into a cooler and drier setup, because it's been a hot stretch here with not much in the way of rainfall. So here's your entire 10-day. Let me step out for a second so you can see all 10. 93 today, 97, 96. Then we'll shave off 10 degrees immediately with that front moving in, and we'll continue to drop these numbers. Some of you on Friday may not get out of the 70s, and as we get into the weekend, a slow climb to humidity levels and temperatures as well, getting back on track once again. Stay with us. We got much more sunrise coming up here on this Monday, right after the break.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots. The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.
A living piece of Bullitt County history just turned 100 years old.
And now he's giving us the secrets he says kept him feeling young throughout the decades.
Hard work, cigar now, man. Go fishing. Be good to my neighbors.
That's the secret right there. 1 century ago, George Bradbury was born. To celebrate, he had a big party at the Hillview Government Center. In 1943, he enlisted in the Marines right out of high school to serve in World War II. After basic training, he deployed to the Pacific Theater as a radio operator and worked with the Navajo Code Talkers. After his service in the military, Bradbury returned home to Bullitt County. He found a job, married, and raised a family. Over the years, he ran a service station and a skating rink and also served on the county's school board. Happy birthday to him.
100. Wow. Lived through history.
And the secret's right there. He said, be good to your neighbors, too.
Yes.
That's a key one.
And a cigar now and then, too.
Now and then. Now and then. He made that clear.
Yeah. All right. Brian, question. When it cools down next week, is the humidity going to be low?
Yes, and I think that even if it didn't, cool down dramatically, it's the reduction of humidity I think everyone just really wants because that allows you to stay outside a little longer, even if it's a hot day. If it's a dry heat, as Phoenix will say, if it's a dry heat, you can stay out in and tolerate it a bit more. But it's that humid air; it's tough to breathe, even if you're completely healthy, it's tough. Even open the door at 10 o'clock at night to let the dog out, and you're like, no, that's not a good sign, right? We don't want to be in that mess. And we're still in that category. Well, it'll still feel like that. High humidity, day and night. Occasionally, you'll get some thunderstorms. I'm thinking today may end up being our thunderstorm day of this heat wave, the way it's looking now. I think we'll get spotty showers and storms with fire up. But my concern is timing. I'm going to aim for about 6 to 7 p.m. the way the data is trending now. We'll let you know if that holds or not, but that's the way it's looking to me now. Otherwise, 93 the high, heat index 105 or so for later on. Now tomorrow, I don't see as much of a trigger for storms, so therefore the thermometer has been raised up there to about 97, 98, but the heat index is 108. Tomorrow's going to be a tough day and could still get flagged as an alert day because it will be the most intense day of heat and humidity. Wednesday will still be a hot day, but it's a changeable day. Clouds increase, maybe some rain late in the day, and that leads us into the rainy setup on Thursday. And this is a good thing. This is the front that will knock us down into the lower 80s and take the lows down into the 60s for a good chunk of the weekend. Next weekend, oh wow, can you imagine everywhere that has anything going on outside? It is going to be absolutely packed, and for a good reason. Olivia?
Oh, I'm so excited for it already. Thank you, Brian. People from across Louisville joined a nationwide protest against the Trump administration's cuts. They say the loss of funding will hurt everyday Americans. Vocal Kentucky hosted a Families First rally and marched downtown over the weekend. The organization says the cuts from Trump's Big Beautiful Bill will hurt children, seniors, and families by reducing social service programs like Medicaid and food stamps. More than 200 cities and communities across the country took part in the Families First rallies. Coming up here on Sunrise, transportation always a big focus with the return of a new school year. Today, families can get more information about how their kids will be getting to school. Everything you need to know. Sunrise continues right after this.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Hey, good morning and happy Monday to you. We keep saying JCPS going back to school next week. Indiana students going back this week.
Yeah, crazy. What happened to summer?
Well, I mentioned this on the air the other day. I went to JCPS schools, and it was always the first day of school was after the last day of the Kentucky State Fair. It was that way all my 12 years. And then now it's all kind of staggered everywhere. But
it's early.
It's early. It is early.
Yeah.
We went to school a little later too, so that I guess is a payoff. You got to keep that in mind too as you get into May. You went out of there fast. I get it. I totally understand. But hey, this morning is the last summer break here for JCPS. I hope you're enjoying it. It's going to be a warm, hot week, and you got some nice weather for this upcoming weekend to really get out there and enjoy some decent time outside with your friends before you get into school late next week. Right now, we are dealing with quiet weather on the side of the junction there. You can see the barrels that are still up with LMPD, just making sure everybody knows the 65 south part is not fully open. Only partially open there. 77 in Louisville, 72 in Court, and 70 right now in Tell City. Not bad, but 70s, your AC should have had a chance to catch up during the overnight while you were asleep. Heat advisories out though all the way through 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Extreme heat warning. These are rare. We don't get these very often into Louisville and Wave Country. They're more common actually in Paducah. But right now, based on the numbers I've seen, we get close. Also close on Tuesday. But right now, I think we're going to fall short of that on the lower end. Hey, thank you, Flynn. What a beautiful shots right now at Waterfront Park. He's able to get a shot of the Kennedy and the Lincoln Bridges side by side there. And what a beautiful shot. Got a few high-level clouds, but nice pink sky there in the distance overhead. Flynn is always on it there in the Storm Tracker. All right, we got a latest look at least to some partly cloudy skies. You saw some of those from that shot from Flynn. They'll hang over the sky here for the next little bit. Otherwise, partly sunny for a while. Yeah, here comes our problem here with this batch of thunderstorms that will eventually just work its way down to the south slowly as we into later on this afternoon, giving us a chance of a few thunderstorms. So I'll keep the rain chance low until that batch in Iowa gets closer, and at that point I will try to do a little more of an uptick on storm chances around say 4 to 8 o'clock this evening. More on that coming up here in just a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Brian. Well, as we said, we are just 10 days away from the start of the new school year for Jefferson County Schools.
Today, parents and guardians can confirm their transportation plans for the year. You can see those plans on the JCPS Bus Teller app. That's where you'll get the ins and outs of the routes, including the assigned bus stop number, the location, and estimated pickup and drop-off times. The information will be updated daily, so you can check it throughout the first couple of weeks of school because things could change a bit. It can all be found on the transportation website at jcpsfirstday.com. You'll also find a transportation verification form if you have not filled it out yet. Now, the deadline did pass. The district is now in that freeze period for additions until August 18th, but you do still need to fill out a form, but your student may not be guaranteed a bus stop by the first day, which is August 7th.
If you have any questions, the transportation hotline also goes live today. JCPS staff will answer hotline calls weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Just call 485-RIDE, that's 7433 with your questions, and the line will remain open through the first several days of school. New Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood says all bus routes are covered for the first day of school. The district currently has more than 600 drivers, with more expected to be hired. And if you haven't had the chance to meet Superintendent Yearwood, he'll be holding a series of public forums. The first is today at Seneca High School from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It'll be followed by one on Wednesday at Fairdale High School. That one will also be from 5:30 to 7 p.m. As families get ready for the new school year, Baptist Health is reminding parents and students of an often overlooked back-to-school essential, and that's proper backpack selection and usage. An overly loaded backpack or poorly loaded backpack can lead to back, neck, and shoulder pain. Experts have a few tips on selecting and packing your backpack. First, fit. The backpack shouldn't be too large or too small. Next, keep it light. Your child's backpack should weigh less than 15% of their body weight. And lastly, pack smart. Put those heavy items closer to your body and even out the weight throughout the backpack.
Today, we expect to learn more about the condition of Muhammad Ali's brother. Some community leaders say he is in the hospital. The pastor of King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church, Charles Elliott, is calling for prayer and support for Rahman Ali. The 82-year-old is the younger brother of Muhammad Ali. Reverend Elliott will be joined by other community leaders to give an update on his condition at 10:30 this morning. We'll let you know what they say.
Today, a private memorial will be held for an Army cadet who died during training at Fort Knox. The base says 22-year-old Neil Adara from Ridgewood, New Jersey, died on Thursday. They say he became unresponsive while doing land navigation training. The exact cause of his death is still under investigation. Fort Knox leaders say safety is a top priority as cadet summer training continues.
Happening today, Utica Fire and Rescue will host an open house to recruit some new volunteer firefighters. Starting at 7 tonight, potential volunteers can visit the station on Utica Pike in Jeffersonville. The Fire Protection District Board of Trustees President Joe Charles will serve as the department's first chief. Charles told our partners at the News and Tribune nearly 50 applicants for volunteer firefighters have given an application. The department is looking to rebuild in the wake of the Jamie Knoll investigation. Jeffersonville Fire is providing fire protection to the Utica area right now until the end of the year.
Some Louisville first responders are making sure they're prepared for any situation. Anchorage Middletown Fire and EMS had specialized elevator rescue training sessions. Norton Healthcare let them use one of their buildings to carry out the exercises. The situation they're practicing for is what a battalion chief described as low frequency but high acuity.
Doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it's a very high stress event and a very critical event where somebody's life is actually in danger. We have to do all the steps properly to make sure we get them out safely.
The firefighters had a crash course on how an elevator works, then opened the shaft to simulate a rescue for somebody trapped at the bottom with an injury or confined inside the elevator itself. Here's Brian taking us through the next 12 hours.
All right, thanks, Olivia. Yes, the next 12 hours actually will continue to feed that sizzle, that climb every hour by hour here. And we're going to be seeing temperatures inching upward back into the 90s, perhaps up to about 94 for a couple of hours today. But the heat index near 106. Take it easy outside. And there will be a chance for a few thunderstorms. I'll show you the Futurecast as an example of that coming up after the break.
All right, thank you, Brian. And as we take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door, looks like everything is moving great out there. But please keep in mind that stretch of Hospital Curve on 65 southbound down to just one lane. Traffic is moving through that area right now, but expect some delays as the morning commute picks up.
As WAVE celebrates America's 250th anniversary next year, we're looking back at what happened on this day in history. 10 years ago today, the northbound lanes of I-65 from Louisville to Jeffersonville opened on the new Abraham Lincoln Bridge. It drew a lot of excitement, less so when it started collecting tolls. City leaders offered up the chance for hundreds of people to walk across the new bridge before it opened. It opened to full traffic later that year. Well, today a lot of people will be gathering in Germantown for the Dainty Contest.
Dainty is a game that originated with German immigrants back in the 1800s, and the event has now become a decades-old tradition in the Schnitzelburg neighborhood. And WAVE News reporter Kirsten Foote is live there this morning with a preview. Good morning, Kirsten.
Good morning, Shannon and Olivia. You guys saw me in the segment before this, and I was trying my hand at Dainty, and I didn't do so well. So I think the award that I would get if I was competing maybe is this lemon, actually a basket of lemons. That is the, I guess you could say, kind of consolation prize for if you don't do so well at Dainty. It's a fun, unique tradition in backyard, John. And so, John, tell me about the lemon basket that people might get.
No one knows where this tradition started, but whoever hits it the furthest actually is going to be the world champion. They get a little piece of Hawk's Candy Store that we took out during the renovations to take home as the trophy. The loser, you might say, the person who actually hits it, but hits it the shortest positive distance, receives the traditional basket of lemons.
Gotcha.
I will say last year's winner of the basket of lemons, Mayor Craig Greenberg. He'll be back this year to see if he can get a repeat.
Hey, anything is on the table here. And I would not be opposed to winning that here. And actually, I don't even know if I'd qualify for the basket of lemons because I haven't actually hit the thing yet. Oh, so I'm going to see if I can do this here.
You got it.
Warming up, I'm like an athlete. It's an athletic, really, thing here. You really have to work your,
a little bit of like skill, a little bit of tactics, a little bit of strategery, if you will. Hey, look at that! We got it going on down the street in about 50 feet. 50 feet.
50 feet.
How does it feel?
Wow. I feel like wow. I don't know. This is my moment. This is my
Give me that lemon. You're no longer in the running for the lemons.
Darn it. Oh my goodness. Well, maybe I'll win a little world record here. But actually, tell me where that world record little kind of marker is actually.
So you were close at about the 50-foot mark there. 173 feet, all the way back to the tent at the end of the alley here, is the current world record.
Oh
but
my
I think you got it in you.
Hey, it's gonna happen in like 20 years when I can compete in this for real. Y'all better watch out because I am coming. John, I'll let you get your.
I don't want to follow that. I don't want to follow that performance. That was incredible.
I must say.
We'll see if we can get a hit here. Some people get low, some people get high, but you want to get it up. Strike one for me.
No.
We'll see if we can get it going again.
Oh!
Swing and a miss. So that's what it's all about.
Exactly. So 55th annual Dainty Contest happening tonight here at 5 o'clock right in front of Hawks. What more could you ask for?
Absolutely. It's a great time. We encourage everybody to come hang out.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, John. It's been so much fun, and I can walk away saying that I hit the Dainty.
You're currently in first place.
Woohoo! Hey, start the day off strong. It's going to be
well done.
not long lived.
Round of applause.
Good job, Kirsten. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Good job.
Have you ever tried dainty?
I haven't. I want to.
Me too. You know,
I know.
I have great hand-eye coordination because of softball. So I'm
Right.
convinced that I would be so good at dainty.
I bet you would be.
I agree. It would be awful. I would just to get it off the ground would be. I think that's easy to get it up in the air. It's just the swinging. I think that's where I'll mess up.
I think I'm the opposite. I would have trouble getting it off the ground because once it's in the air, I can just
You can whack it.
probably. I'm assuming here.
Sounds like a good time either way. All right. We appreciate Kirsten sharing that. And thank you, Shannon and Olivia. We are keeping an eye on the warm and humid setup outside, but there is promise of a change. In fact, about this time next week, it really will not be bad at all here in the Wave Country. I got the good news to share with you all coming up in just 30 seconds. All right, good morning. It's about 46 minutes after the hour on this Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. I know it's still hot outside, but something to look forward to is the change we do have in our weather coming our way into the coming days. So it's just a matter of being patient. Otherwise, yeah, we need some water out here. We've had to water some of even our perennials and annuals here into the weather garden too. I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. The pollen counts will still stay into the medium or moderate phase for a bit longer. Once we get some decent rain in here, which may take about Thursday, that may drop it down, but unfortunately it should really skyrocket right after that because it will get some beneficial rainfall. So something we'll track it one step at a time. But hey, if you're gonna do some mowing today, now that does add a little bit of grass, palm flop in the air in your neighborhood. So a lot of folks are doing this, trying to get everything ready for that rain at times for later this week. So if you're going to do it, though, do it early in the day here or evening. Don't do it in the middle of the afternoon. Too hot for that. Temperatures will be in the 70s and 80s for much of your mow. Just make sure everyone's fully awake before you fire up that lawnmower. All right, currently 77 over at Ollie International. Dew point is up there at 71. So yeah, feels like 79. That's not too excessive, right? Now that will worsen as we get the sun up and beating down on us. Down in the heat and humidity combination will get a bit nasty there for later on. But as far as rainfall goes, so far so good. We've had some showers around Indianapolis, but nice and dry here locally. Expand the view out, you'll see a bunch of showers and thunderstorms there across Iowa heading into Indiana. Now we are expecting those to begin to push a little more south. They'll run out of gas at times as they dive south, but they could help regenerate. They're acting like mini cold fronts that can actually help in regenerating new thunderstorms. Where will it be? Will it be a little closer to, say, the Wabash and Evansville, or will they actually fire all the way into Louisville? That's a good question, and that's something we'll be trying to answer all day today. Hour by hour today on the heat and the heat index. 94 the high, heat index 105 to 106. Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at. Here is the latest outlook here on Futurecast. It does show that thunderstorm potential with that boundary that sinks south. You see that chance for showers and storms to fire up all the way across central Kentucky. This will be very, very scattered. I don't see anything organized right now moving through wave country, so this is not a huge severe weather event by any stretch, but it will be one of those downpours that kind of drip by with some loud thunder, heavy rainfall, and then since they're heat-based, the sun goes down and they go bye-bye. But this front will be our best chance. This arrives Thursday. And as it does so, showers and clusters of thunderstorms will move on by. And then finally, the cooler, less humid air just flows right in to our backyards. Friday morning, especially when you walk outside, you may have a shock to the system when you walk out. You're going to be like, wow, this feels fantastic. All right, so here we go with the 10-day release alert. 93 today, barely below 80, by the way, as you noticed at night. So very warm nights will continue, especially for the city of Louisville. 97 on Tuesday. 96, still hot on Wednesday. Although Wednesday's a transition day, I think we'll get more of the clouds and rain as that front drops in. We'll go with a 40% chance of rain now on Thursday. I've got a feeling that's going to go up to about a 70% chance as we get closer. And then we'll have a chance to get into a drier setup, low dew points. Some of you could even see highs in the 70s. It's possible that I can roll it out, especially in the areas outlying away from the city limits, and lows at night could even drop in the 50s for some of you. But we do bounce back with some moisture to the very end of the 10-day, and a few small rain chances come in. But what you can't see beyond this 10-day is another round of cool weather may try to move in. Wouldn't that be interesting to get another wave later on in time? Something we'll be watching carefully, guys.
Interesting. I'd say awesome. Thank you, Brian. Love it. Now taking a look at the big stories we're following today around the country and the world.
Today, the Trump administration is holding talks with 2 countries ahead of trade deadlines early next month. President Donald Trump is meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in Scotland. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is in Sweden for trade talks with Chinese officials. The U.S. and China have an outline for an agreement and a goal of finalizing a deal by August 12th.
42-year-old Bradford Gill is facing terrorism and assault charges after police say he stabbed nearly a dozen people at a Michigan Walmart. It happened at the Traverse City Walmart over the weekend. Investigators confirmed the victims ranged in age from 29 to 84. Officials say Gill has a history of assault incidents and controlled substance violations.
Only half of Congress returns to Capitol Hill this week. The U.S. Senate is back, while the House left for its August recess last week. The Senate is set to leave for its break after Friday, but President Trump has urged Senate Majority Leader John Thune to cancel the annual August recess so that senators continue working on confirming the president's nominees.
America's first communications network, the U.S. Postal Service, celebrating its 250th birthday over the weekend. Today, the Postal Service has 640,000 employees.
We'll be right back with a look at your local news in the Wake Up Watch List. We're following the latest top headlines in today's Wake Up Watch List.
JCPS students will go back to school next week, and today parents will be able to map out their children's bus rides and their questions about their routes to school. Parents and families can check out the JCPS Bus Teller app. It's where you'll see those plans and all the details for routes, including bus stop numbers, locations, and estimated pickup and drop-off locations. Today, the bus hotline 485-RIDE will open up as well. JCPS staff will answer any questions weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Some of the weekend closures on I-65 near Hospital Curve are partially wrapping up this morning, but it could still impact your commute. I-65 South has reopened, but sections near Hospital Curve are reduced to 1 lane through Wednesday. Crews are making permanent repairs to expansion joints that require frequent fixes, and additional lane closures will be scheduled at a later date.
We expect to learn more about the condition of Muhammad Ali's brother this morning. A group of community leaders say he's in the hospital. The pastor of King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church, Charles Elliott, is calling for prayers and support for Rahman Ali. The 82-year-old is the younger brother of Muhammad Ali. Reverend Elliott will be joined by other community leaders to give an update on his condition at 10:30 this morning. Here's Brian tracking that hot weather.
Yeah, well, maybe an extra hot, maybe we need to throw it in there. Yeah, it's been nonstop. The next 12 hours, that thermometer will be on a steady climb, then even out slowly as we get into about the mid-afternoon. But that evening out should get us to that 93, 94 degree range. But with a lot of humidity, it will feel closer to about 100 to 105 at times today. Heat advisory is in effect. Yes, a chance for a couple of thunderstorms. Possibly that could pop later today. We'll be monitoring that. Otherwise, the heat continues in a big way tomorrow. 97 degrees, the hottest day of the year so far. And then we cool down in a big way toward the upcoming weekend, Olivia.
And I have some bad news from drivers coming over from Indiana. We know that 65 southbound near Hospital Curve down to just 1 lane, so you can expect some delays there as you're crossing over the Kennedy Bridge. But also we have a report of a crash on the 2nd Street Bridge too, so that's really going to make it tough for drivers coming over from Indiana. Already seeing delays there on the 2nd Street Bridge, and we can imagine this will only get more and more clogged up throughout the morning commute, so please keep an eye on that for everyone coming over from Indiana.
Wow. What a way to start off the week, huh?
Yeah.
And all that. Maybe just
Anytime we've got the 2nd Street Bridge involved, it really slows things down. So, yeah, please be careful out there, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see you for more local news and weather on Wave now. Thanks for waking up with us.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more, all for free with Wave Now.